Good morning, everyone.
Good morning,
Good morning,
Rabbi.
Rabbi.
We're learning Mishnah Sotah, Perek Gimel, Chapter 3, Mishnah Zay, Mishnah 7. Bas Yisrael Shenisas L'Kohen, a daughter of a Yisrael meaning her father was not a Kohen, and she married a Kohen. Minchasa Nisrafes, her mincha that she brings is burnt. Now, this is really a continuation from the previous Mishnah that I taught us, that if the woman who is a Sotah and brings a mincha, a meal offering, and her husband's a kohen, that what happens to that meal offering? The kamitza, the scooped out part, gets burnt on the altar, and the rest of it is burned together in the same place where other disqualified sacrifices are burned. And the reason is that the rule is that the mincha of a kohen is completely burned, not eaten, and nothing of it is eaten by the kohanim. The mincha that doesn't come from a kohen, the kamitza, is burnt on the altar, and the rest of it goes to the kohanim. In the case of the previous Mishnah, which was where the Sotah was the wife of a kohen, the issue is that they are basically both considered owners of the mincha. He's an owner of the mincha because he supplies it. She's the owner of the mincha because it's for her, and therefore, so we know the kamitza is going to go on the altar, but the rest of it, what is it going to do? To give it to the kohanim, we can't because there's a kohen who owns this. To burn it on the altar, we can't because there's a non-kohen who owns it, and therefore, the Mishnah said before, that the remainder gets burnt. Now, this part of the Mishnah is really going to be a continuation, and it's really talking about the mincha of any kohen's wife. Meaning any woman who's married to a kohen who brings a mincha the Mishnah says, minchas and nisrefes, her meal offering is going to be burnt. It's the same issue. She may have brought it for herself, but who's supplying it? Her husband's supplying it. It's coming from his from his things. And therefore, it's the same issue where you have a mincha belonging to a kohen, and the wife of a kohen who is not considered a kohen in regarding to this. And therefore, we have that same issue. You can't burn it all on the altar because it's the mincha of a non-kohen. You can't give it to the kohanim to eat because it's the mincha of a kohen. And therefore, the Mishnah says that the meal offering is burnt. So it's not only in the case of a Sotah, the wife of a kohen who is a Sotah, who has the remainder of the meal offering burnt, but any woman married to a kohen who brings a mincha, the kamitza is offered on the altar, and the rest of it is burnt. Next, the kohenes shenisas liYisrael. A kohenes. What's a kohenes? That means she's the daughter of a kohen. She is the daughter of a kohen. She married a Yisrael. What's the status of her mincha? What's the law regarding her mincha? Minchas and nechalas. Her meal offering is going to be eaten by the kohanim, because although she's the daughter of the kohen, the rule that the mincha of a kohen has to be totally burnt on the altar is only as applies to a male kohen. But the daughter of a kohen does not apply to, and therefore her mincha is like anybody else's mincha. The kamitza is burnt on the altar. The rest of it is eaten by the kohanim. Now, once we have this distinction, we now go through a number of other distinctions between a kohen and the kohenes, the daughter of a kohen. Ma ben kohen lekohenes. What's the difference between a kohen and a kohenes? Kohenes meaning, again, she's born, her father is a kohen. So the first thing is minchas kohenes necheles. The mincha of a kohenes is eaten. If you'd have a situation where, let's say, this woman, she's the daughter of a kohen, she's bringing a mincha on her own. There's no I should put this not on her own. There's no kohen husband involved. So her mincha is going to be eaten. The fact that, again, that she comes from a kahuna family doesn't make a difference from that point, because she's a female. Minchas kohen eina chalas, while the mincha of a kohen isn't eaten. The mincha of a kohen, it gets totally burnt on the altar. Next. Now, the next difference has nothing to do with what we've been talking about right now. We're just going to be listing differences between a kohen and a kohenes. Kohenes mischalelas, the kohen ein mischalo. A kohenes becomes mischalelas, she becomes desecrated, while a Kohen does not. What does that mean? She becomes desecrated. It means that an example of it means it means a Kohen's daughter, she cohabited with a man who is forbidden to her. She's not allowed to cohabit with him. She becomes desecrated, and she loses the privileges associated with the kahuna. She may not eat truma. She may not marry a Kohen. Once she does this, she cannot have any of the advantages of a kahuna. She can't marry a Kohen, and in the situation where she was a daughter of a Kohen, she cannot go back to her father's house and eat truma, because she has been desecrated by cohabiting with someone who was forbidden to her. Now, this law of becoming a halal, as it's called, doesn't only apply to the daughter of a Kohen. It applies to a daughter of a Yisrael also. A woman who cohabits with somebody she's not allowed to can never marry a Kohen. Now, an example of being cohabiting with a man that she wasn't allowed to is a married woman cohabited with a man other than her husband, a single woman cohabited with a close relative or with a mamzer, or a divorcee cohabited with a Kohen. All these cases where the woman is not permitted to cohabit with these men, when she does so, she's mischala, she's desecrated from the kahuna, and she cannot have any of the benefits of the kahuna. But a Kohen is not mischalal. That means if a Kohen, let's say, cohabits with a woman he's not allowed to, it doesn't have any effect on him. He still remains a Kohen. Now, if he's married to a woman he's not allowed to be married to, the halacha is that as long as he's married to her, he is desecrated from the kahuna. He cannot serve, he cannot eat truma. But once he's not married to her anymore, either because he divorces her or she dies, in that situation, he can go back. He goes back to all the privileges of a Kohen. Okay, next difference. Kohenes mitama lamesim. A Kohenes can become tamei, but with contact with a dead body. Ben kayim mitama lamesim, but a Kohen may not. Kohen may not. Now, what that means is a Kohen cannot come into contact with a dead body. He cannot be under the same roof with a dead body. He cannot become tamei, impure, from a dead body. That prohibition applies to a Kohen. It does not apply to a Kohenes. It does not apply to the daughter of a Kohen. Kohen oicha b'kadshe kadashim, Kohenes oicheles b'kadshe kadashim. A Kohen can eat what we call most holies, and a Kohenes, a Kohen can eat from karbanos that fall in the category of most holy, and a Kohenes cannot eat from those karbanos sacrifices that fall under the category of most holy. So, to explain that, there are two types of offerings. Kachim kalim, offerings of lesser holiness, which include the shlamim, toida, bechar, pesach. One of the signs of a kachim kalim is it can be eaten anywhere in Yerushalayim. Then you have kachim, most holy offerings, which include the chatas, asham, and mincha. They have to be eaten within the courtyard of the Beis Hamikdash. The meat of kachim kalim may be eaten by anyone, and anyone means anyone. You can, if a Kohen brings a carbon that's kachim kalim, anybody can eat from it, and that includes his wife or anybody. But the meat and flour of kachim may be eaten only by male kohanim. So even though the daughter of a Kohen can participate in his carbon that falls under the category of kachim kalim, offerings of lesser holiness, but any carbon that falls under the category of kachim, such as a sin offering, a guilt offering, a meal offering, which Kohanim eat, only male Kohanim can eat from it, not female. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you, Rabbi.